Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Levitt Pavilion Dayton with the fabulous Lisa Wagner, who's the executive director. And we are here on Giving Tuesday, which is an annual event that happens where it's an opportunity for arts organizations and nonprofits to do a little fundraising, do a little friend raising, and a little awareness as well. And I wanted to bring Lisa in to talk about what's happening with Levitt on Giving Tuesday. So welcome.
Well, we are honored to have the award-winning host of the art show, Rodney Veal, not only as a board trustee, but as a good friend of ours. So thank you, Rodney, for being part of this today. Yeah.
There's a lot of love.
When we were talking kind of in the spirit of 2020, when we were talking about Giving Tuesday, as a team, we really wanted to give back to the community. So we talked about coming up with some content that we could share. And we thought this was a great way to start the day. Obviously, starting any day with you is fantastic. But we have some fun, special things that we want to share with everyone at the top of our day, which is now. And then we have music. That's who we are. We want to create access to music. So we have music going from 1 o'clock until 5. And then at 5 o'clock, we have a special happy hour hosted by another gem of our city, Amelia Robinson. And we're going to have a happy hour of all things Levitt. So it's a Q&A, and we have some great panelists joining us to talk about how did Dayton get Levitt, a permanent venue here in our beautiful city. And then at 6 o'clock, we are going to showcase our students who have been working in a virtual songwriting camp this fall. And they're going to share the songs that they've produced and also share the experience of collaborating with one another. And then we have a special treat for our community. At 7 o'clock, we have the Plain White Tees. Tom Higginson is going to join us. And Dave Alexander is going to host us from Mix 107.7. So again, Q&A. We hope everybody will come back and enjoy all these different elements throughout the day. Instead of listening to Spotify, just listen to us, and and hopefully it'll bring you joy. And it certainly is our way of kicking off the holiday season and sharing our thankfulness for this amazing community that we all get to live in.
That is awesome. And so, one of what's really exciting about that is that, with Giving Tuesday, because being in the arts and being on the art show, the host of the art show, I know a little bit about Giving Tuesday, but what's really unique about this is the fact that it's like a full-on, almost a full day of activities that people can kind of come into and kind of discover. If you didn't know anything about Levitt, you can discover. And if you know anything about Levitt, you can kind of embrace it again and getting ready for 2021. So how special is that for you as the executive director to be able to kind of bring something positive to the table with Giving Tuesday?
Oh my gosh. I would say that it is shining a light on everything about 2020 that we feel for this community. We certainly would have loved to have been activated, and we were obviously restricted, but we don't want to ever stop. We don't ever want to stop connecting with our community. We are hard at work, again, creating a season to kick off in 21. And this is our way of not only giving back to the community, but also asking, in the spirit of Giving Tuesday, please support us so that we can come back really strong in 21. Giving Tuesday, the history of it, we always had Black Friday, then Cyber Monday. And I think the nonprofit world wanted to kind of jump in there and say, hey, what about us? And so Giving Tuesday has become this kind of philanthropic day. And it's typically an ask that's done through social media or through, newsletters and emails. We just wanted to be different. And of course, connecting this content is important because there's joy behind music. We all know that, and we just want to be able to share that with everyone. So it was just kind of that fluidity of, yes, we're asking for support. Please consider donating at levittdayton.org. And we would really be grateful for that support because it is going to help us as we go into 2021. However, we want to give back to you. And that's kind of how the programming came to be. It wasn't going to be like a one and done. We really wanted to do something a little bit more robust and exciting. I hope they love it. I hope people enjoy it and appreciate it.
I think they will. And I think what's really exciting, Lisa, is the fact that you're going to be showcasing. You talked about that we would love to have had concerts in the summer of 2020, but you had the virtual songwriting sessions and camps so that you could still engage with young people. So how exciting is that? Talk about a little bit about that as pivoting alternative programming.
So in case people don't know, during our first 2 seasons, when we had artists come into Dayton, we would actually engage them out in the community, especially with at-risk or under-resourced youth. Examples of that would be Daybreak, Kind, the YWCA, the Wesley's Community Center, places that were having summer camps. So going into this COVID summer, we started thinking, well, we certainly want to keep this work alive because now more than ever, we really want to hear these voices. These young voices have so much to say, not just because we're all going through a pandemic, but let's all face it, there's been a whole lot more going on in the world, especially around social justice issues, and we wanted to hear their voice. So we reached out with some partners that we have. Making Movies was on our stage, and they do a summer camp in Kansas City every year, and they were having the same conversations. How do we move our summer camps that have such a huge following into a virtual space? So we worked together, we collaborated and created our first songwriting workshop in the early summer, late spring. And then we had Kashana Armstrong, who is going to be an artist part of our 2020 season. She's has an incredible background, has worked with in the jail systems as a music therapist and whatnot. And now she's an incredible force. I can't wait to have her on our stage in 2021. So we reached out to her and asked her if she would work specifically with the YWCA's Girls Lead program. And they both went so well, we felt like we didn't want there to be a gap at the end of the year. So we had a fall camp. And I know that probably most of these young people are sick as we are of being in a virtual space. So they committed to doing it like one day a week, Saturdays, where the other one was like a week-long intensive. They did it every day. So tonight, at 6 o'clock, we'll get to hear what were the results of the fall workshop. And these are students from all over the Dayton area that wouldn't normally get to work together, and they're creating and collaborating and really, I guess, having some amazing experiences. So I can't wait to hear how this session has gone. From what I heard before, that was the intent. They didn't want to stop working together, which, like, I wonder what that'll look like. If some of those relationships will keep creating their art. But I do want to share. I think one of the more moving moments from this outreach is, yes, we are touching people. We're inspiring creativity. But there's also the other side with the artists. And Kashana Armstrong sent me a note afterwards. They ended up, I guess, creating an anthem, the girls' lead anthem. And the girls are going to join Kashana on stage in July of 2021 and sing this with her. She said, Lisa, in a time that I didn't want to wake up and get out of bed, and I was in my darkest place, this work gave me a reason to kind of move through it. And it actually provided healing for her. So, it's interesting how this work, you think you're doing one thing, right? Where you think that you're lifting up these young voices and inspiring creativity, but in a lot of ways, there's healing that's happening all over the place. And I think that's the spirit of music. I think that's just, or art. I shouldn't just limit it to music. Art is that way, right, Rodney? Would you agree?
I would totally agree. In this sort of special time that we're in, artists are craving those experiences that they get to foster their creativity, they get to collaborate, which are really critical to what we do. And so the fact that she could find that and we could provide it through Levitt, Veal, Dayton is pretty awesome. So one of the things that we're super excited about is that people can actually see the results during Giving Tuesday. So what time and where can they see this?
At 6:00 tonight. That's right after our happy hour, our Levitt happy hour, 6:00 this evening. Please join us back here on Facebook Live or our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And that's where we will be able to hear what has come out of the fall workshop. So I'm really excited about it. I know that the last time I was deeply moved. Anytime you see young people that, I don't know, it's just something really amazing that people who don't even know each other come together and find commonality and then create art. And I know that there have been a lot of people, especially in the arts community, that are saying that some of the most inspired art is created during times like these. I think that people forget that artists are still creating art, and probably it's going to be absolutely incredible art, especially of representing this time for all of us, because it's a mirror. The music, the visual art, the spoken word, it's all going to be.
It's all going to be inspired and influenced by this time that we all are collectively going through. This is one of the few things where we are all touched by it. No one can say I'm not touched by this pandemic and the social and social justice issues. We can all say in some way, shape, or form we are being impacted and affected by it. But artists are so sensitive. We're very sensitive and attuned to the universe. And so what that does, our antennas go up, and we just absorb the data, and then we just pour it out in whatever vehicle that we happen to be driving. Yes. And now you've given us this has given us high octane. And so that's we're like the high end of the gas brand. So we're all the super buzz, and we're not sleeping. We're talking like, oh my God, I'm doing this. And we're just making and creating. And I know for myself personally, it's still an art maker. I'm at the most prolific I've been in 5 decades of being an artist. And I find it just very fascinating. So it's that's why I'm so excited that people get to experience that. And the fact that Levitt can make this happen, and the fact that they can give to Levitt knowing that this is the kind of programming and the kind of content that we're trying to elevate, and we're trying to produce and showcase. It's more about giving than taking, that's what I love about our message at Levitt. So
yeah, and I echo, thank you for all of that, Rodney, because I think that when you think about programmatic dollars, it's not just about paying the artists that are on our stage and having a high caliber production experience. We want to be in the community, and we want to be able to lift up our community and meet people where they are. And education and outreach has offered us that opportunity, and we're really excited about those opportunities. We actually have some kind of exciting things planned for 21 that we'll take it maybe another step further, because We always want to try to meet people where they are, but we want everyone to feel as though this is theirs. Levitt Pavilion is their Dayton's Levitt Pavilion. It's your asset. Come be a part of it. And so we've talked about doing some pop-up concerts out in the community to make people feel invited and welcomed, and create awareness to what's happening on 5th and Main, but also just to connect. It's about connectivity. And, we want to keep that education and outreach going. We're going to look for ways to work with people who are already doing the heavy lift. That's the piece too. We want to be additive. There's a lot of great nonprofits and soldiers out in our community that are doing really incredible work. We just want to help. And the way that we do that is through this work, through songwriting workshops, through bringing music into the schools. We did that at Dayton Leadership Academies, and we'd love to come back next fall and do that again with them. We did a songwriting workshop at Daybreak 2 different times. And, I think the artists walk away probably changed, and I don't want to say more changed, but
they're impacted.
The conversations that we have afterwards, they need a minute. Like, they're moved by what just happened in that time. So it's really exciting. And the support that we get from the community through our donors and individual giving and sponsorship and all of that fundraising that we do is integral. This is a community asset that's supported by our community. So, today we're asking you, please lift up the mission and help us keep this great work going on, because I think that we all need it more now than ever.
This is so true. And what I love about it is the fact that it being a community asset means that no gift is too big and no gift is too small.
That's true.
So if you go to levittdayton.org, you can click on hashtag donate. You can give like what you're comfortable giving, because I know that we're all kind of under the stress and under the gun of this current economic situation, which eventually we shall see the light at the end of the tunnel. We're all looking for the hope, and that's what Levitt provides, is that hope and that inspiration. And with the artist and the audience and you and your fabulous staff. And today is so special because a lot of organizations are just going to be like, click and donate. We're providing like artistic content. Talk about the fact that you're going to get to see you hear and see fabulous performances. So
we have put together these really fun hours. Some of them have a matching donor. So if you gave during that hour, you're actually getting a 2-for-1, which is kind of fun. We have Girl Power Hour, we have Kick It Hour, Smooth and Soulful Hour. So there's different genres. We try to take the genres and kind of put them together. There's a bunch of different artists within those hours. So you're getting a variety. I keep saying, pretend you're on Spotify, but you're on Levitt Spotify, and it's fun that way. So that's kind of what the music piece of this, coming out of our virtual series, the content that we created on our stage, we just want to bring it back together in a fresh way, in a different way, and use it on this day as a gift back to the community. I also want to say one quick thing about the donate. We have quite a few donors that they do a recurring monthly schedule. Like if they can give $5 a month or $10 a month.
I do that.
It's such a great way. I mean, if you can, not to put it in the cafe latte world, but think about it. That's a really great way to take your gift and maybe spread it out across a year. Or whatever, every other month or however you'd like to do it. So please check that out. We want to, you're right. I'm always moved by, even at our concerts when we're passing that blue bucket, the people who can give the least are often the ones that are emptying their pockets and putting it in, saying, we love you and thank you for giving us this, this access to free music. And we certainly miss that, and we've missed it all summer long, and we just cannot wait to get back. So we're looking forward to 21. So let's work together to get there.
Right, that's right. And that's how we do it. And that's what Giving Tuesday really is about. It's not just about our hands are out, our hearts are open, and we want to share our hearts, and which is a pretty cool thing, isn't it? That's a
good way of putting it. I love that.
Yeah, and Lisa, you got a lot of heart, so it's and you run a really fabulous family. You do a lot, and it's just this is a good way of kind of honoring not just the hard work that you and your staff, but the board and the community has gone through. I mean, we had a crazy year before 2020. And
oh my gosh,
2020. So,
I mean, I think we all came out of 2019 thinking, okay.
Bring it.
Thank you. And, who knew that we would face something like this. And I will say that, this mission absolutely stands on the shoulders of the people who brought us this far. So all of our capital campaign, donors and the board of trustees that we have, I don't know what we would have done without all of you. This past year, kind of giving us that energy that we needed to keep moving forward. And that community that shows up on the lawn is just incredible. And they've continued even in 2020 in this virtual space to show up in a really meaningful way. You're all feeding us, your comments, your notes that you're sending us. It really means a lot to all of us, and what a team I get to work with, right? To work with Abby and Madeline on a daily basis. I couldn't be more grateful for the two of them and the team that we have. So, but there's other things that were supposed to happen in 2020, Rodney. I don't know if you know. But we have this really amazing mural that came. Speaking of art, right?
Yeah. Which was we were supposed to unveil and do a big about
a big hoo-ha. Yeah, it was going to be a big reveal, and Her Majesty Sierra Leone, who right. Let me put my crown.
We all hail the Queen.
She is such a treasure and a gift to this community, and I'm honored to call her a friend. We commissioned her to do a poem about what Levitt Dayton means, and Sierra, which you'll hear in an interview if you can stick around and listen to it. She talks about the process.
Yeah.
But she spent a season literally coming to the space, whether there was music or not, whether it was raining or sunshine or, she spent time soaking up what this space means. And so she wrote a poem called Healing on 5th and Main. I'll never forget the first time she read it for me. I wept, and I said, would you read it again for the team? And I pulled the production guys in, our stagehands and our staff, and she read it again, and everyone was choked and moved. Our big guys, I love our stagehands. They're amazing. So, and then we had her do it for the board, and I think that everyone obviously on the board was blown away. Can you imagine how did she captured it so perfectly?
Yeah, and the fact that one of the things that was really exciting is the fact that Levitt inspires other people like a Sierra Leone, who's a Dayton original. Levitt, Dayton original. We got Sierra Leone being an original, and the fact that it was I remember just going. She captured the essence of who and what we are and what we're trying to accomplish in a way, in such an artistic and complete way that it was just who are you channeling? How are you? What kind of sorcery are you using? I mean, it's pretty amazing. And the fact that on this special day, you in the audience, you who are watching, get to watch it and get to hear about the process, but you get to hear her say the poem, which is cool.
We hope I feel like we still need to get her up on the stage in 21 and have her recite it. But we want everyone to be able to enjoy this moment with us. And then I do want to tell you, I think that, wouldn't you agree that as obviously part of the original team that was sitting around a kitchen table talking about the possibility of Levitt, and then I know hearing some of our other trustees that worked very hard in the heavy lift of bringing the organization to fruition, I don't think we all thought that it would deliver all that it promised in such a short period of time. And I think that people forget it's the magic of this community on the lawn. There's something
special. There's something the fact that she could define the undefinable.
Exactly.
And that's the beauty of art, and that's the beauty of being an artist of her caliber. The fact that she's walking amongst us. We have these artists who walk amongst us, and they're even musicians, and I get the privilege of kind of the joy. This is the greatest joy of my life, as I get to showcase and highlight those artists. I get to try to figure out ways to be on boards to help me in service of getting the message and giving people the platform to share their gifts. There's no greater reward. There's no greater reward than service. I think that Martin Luther King has said that succinctly in the best. There is no greater reward than service to be of your fellow man. And I think, wow, that's one of the missions, and being one of those people that were around that kitchen table, we had the audacity to believe that we could do something we had never accomplished. And that was convince a community that we needed to have this pavilion and we needed to have this music program of free music for all. Like I'm thinking 5 years ago, who were we? And the fact that it changed us, it changed me. I know it changed me. I'm a different human being because of taking on, just in my small way, just saying yes to the possibility, to turn the impossible into the possible. It just blows my mind. And so, I've always believed, I believed it in my heart, but then having to be able to being able to manifest it into reality. What I truly believe, being in service to others matters above anything else. So
I couldn't agree more. So I think this is a perfect spot for us to stop and take pause and listen as we have Music Heals on 5th and Main. As Sierra recorded this for the Summer in the City, which is a virtual event that was put on by the Downtown Dayton Partnership. Let's listen in and hear it in her own beautiful voice. And then if you stick around, there's a bonus interview with Sierra on our stage about her process and a special surprise that we reveal. Enjoy.
Music Heals on 5th and Main. Beyond the applause of connectivity, space where light blends into evening skyline, and the urban core of atmospheric freedom co-create cityscape harmony. Can you hear the traces of music pulling us forward? In a city of second chances, smiles, laughter, and conversations reclaim space deemed underutilized, now asset and binding thread, celebrating accessibility. The living room of downtown Dayton extend beyond yesterday's hardened barriers, now transformed into impromptu sidewalk networking, where lawn chairs activates creativity and placemaking. Gaze shifts. Sun rays and ripples of rolling clouds soar high. Feels like summer. fresh air blowing through culture and class differences. Whimsical melodies become vehicles carrying music and artistry, genre within genres. Vibrational togetherness dissipates fear. I'll meet you at the Levitt, Dayton's outdoor oasis under the stars. There is no lonely, the lawn is friend. All is spacious and uplifting. No ceiling, doors, or entrance fee. On any day, the show is worth the walk in drizzling summer rain, shine or no shine. Resonant and rousing shade turns relaxation into rejuvenation. Children's bare feet stumping away separation. In sync, willing bodies sway to the cadence of rhythm. Staff members and volunteers are filled with inclusive gratitude. Pass the blue bucket over here. I want to contribute. Let the excitement live, heal, and restore. Visible joy of strangers waving their arms and singing in unison, friends and family clapping loudly while dancing. Dayton's strong ingenuity made way for music to build community, one concert at a time. We are Levitt, the Levitt Pavilion.
So everyone, welcome Sierra Leone. I know that probably I don't need to do an introduction, but our community treasurer and really dear friend of mine, thank you for joining us today. Sarah, you did something incredible for Levitt Pavilion Dayton when we commissioned you to do a poem that would encapsulate who we are and what we're doing here. Can you talk to me a little bit about what that journey, because it was almost a full year that you worked on the poem by being here in this space. I don't know that a lot of people know that, so I would love for you to share that story.
Yes, for me, first off, Lisa, it is absolutely delightful to be here today. I mean, we're in the midst of a pandemic and the music is healing. You're doing the work. And you know, there's a team of folks who are here, even in this right now moment, with masks on and all preparing to just support the art and support music and ensure that it lives on, even in the midst of a pandemic. And so we thank you for that.
Thank you.
My time spent here at the Levitt was initially just as this idea of it being a community space. And then when I had the opportunity and was commissioned to create the poem, you know, it shifted so much. The time spent here, I began to see beyond just the music. I began to see the setup and the way people walked in heavy from work or heavy from whatever life was dealing them at the moment, and leaving just high-spirited with a pep in their step, like they had just taken medicine. And just to see, even, you know, for me, it's a piece in a poem where we speak about the rainy days, because if you're doing events outside, you're definitely at the mercy of Mother Nature. And it does take a different level, I think, of commitment to your work to kind of navigate that, you know, to kind of barter with the rain gods.
Yeah, I get teased about that a lot, but I have a special conversation with God. We're doing your work here on the lawn. Can you just keep it dry from 4 o'clock until 9 o'clock?
And so for us, it was, and so for me, just even in those spaces, to see people present, you know, something is healing when folks are willing to be there when it's
even when
sun.
It's raining.
Yeah, even when it's raining, no matter what the circumstance was. People were coming from home. They were meeting friends. Folks were allowing people to borrow lawn chairs. You had just all sorts, children meeting each other and connecting. And what was most powerful for me was eyewitnessing the magnitude of the different genres of music that was being played. I would always tell my students, you should, if you get an opportunity to do something for free as a child, or try a new food, or try a new experience, go for it. It's free. Go for it, because
Right.
you'll never know. But I would think of it normally as like a one-off thing where they would get to go on a trip or get to try a new
Right.
food, but this here, that every single weekend to get to do that work. And for me, writing that poem, it became very special. And it became a thing that my son and we were able to bond on a deeper level with music, because he would come every time
Yes.
with me and pack his dinner and sit on the lawn
Yes.
and be present.
Yeah.
And some days get bitten by a few mosquitoes.
Another treasure of the outdoor venue experience. So we're very fortunate that now it's embodied in part of the venue as a mural in our up on our service building, which I'm so excited that it now is accessible for everyone to experience that art, your art, and that it is public art in so many different ways. So I'm really, really excited about Brent, his design, and Adelie's, execution of it. So thank you for, again, being part of the story here. But I also want to point to another piece that you were part of our story, and that was with bringing the signature
Oh, yes.
as the pop-up. I think you and I, many people may not know, like, we go way back.
Yes.
And the signature has always been something very special and a bond between us. So it was really exciting and a kind of a personal thing to be able to have that in this space. So as a producer of that art and then also a performer, what was that like for you?
For me, it was a completely different journey, because the notion, the first thing for me, of art in open air, this idea that it's not inside of a closed space, that is just living and breathing in complete alignment with creation. That in itself, it's something that must be felt when you can speak a poem out loud into the universe. It's not in a sheltered space. That was very, very special for the artists as they spoke to me about their experience. Another thing that was very special was there were different challenges that wouldn't normally be, you can't hide.
True.
There's
Yes.
not a lot of spaces to the backstage piece. Either you're on stage or
Right.
you're off stage,
Right.
And so for us, it's a different sort of scripting when you're looking at that. And then I think that the piece that was very special was the connection. People were able to sit with their food, their drinks, with all of their children. You didn't have to just pick one child because you could foot the bill for you two to come, or a special treat where you could only get one or two or three people or a couple of girlfriends
Right.
who had the time, the energy, and the funds to attend. It was so special to see a mother and all of her children and grandchildren, and to see full families, parents and couples and partners, and
Right.
just people present together, being in community and doing exactly what we've done for 10 straight years inside the theater. And that's lovely as well. But I don't think I had ever had an experience as special as being in the open air and speaking.
Well, I mean, one of my favorite moments of that entire day.
I know what you're gonna say.
Yes. Is when Mr. Robert Owens pulls me aside and says, Lisa, there aren't a lot of people on the lawn. Like, is it gonna, what's the timing situation? Is it gonna fill in? And I said, it's early yet. I think we still had 30 minutes until curtain. And he left to go do something, and I walked out. And I looked at the lawn, and I came back in. I go, you know what? Come here. I want you in this dressing room with your wife. I want to have a conversation. And what was the conversation was, our lawn is big, and a lot of people don't realize the capacity of what we can hold. We usually, we can hold 5,000,
Yes.
but we've had as many as 8,000 when we had the breeders on stage. So at the moment that Robert was concerned, I think we had probably 800 people.
Yes, there were.
And then by the end of the night, we had 1,800 people. And so what I loved about that conversation with the two of you was how many more people we were able to make your art accessible to because we lifted the ticket and we opened the walls up. And I think that was kind of one of the, I think for all of us.
It was an eye-opener. It automatically said to us, we love the theater and we love the theater space.
Absolutely.
There's nothing comparable to it, but this notion of always finding a way to produce a signature show at the Levitt in our community.
Yeah.
Always finding a way to make it accessible for everyone.
Right.
It was in that moment that we realized this is our work as well.
Yeah.
And it must be done. And it was for us, we thought, wow, no one's going to show up for the signature. And maybe it's a pop-up. And you were like, it's 800 people. Yeah. You were like, really? And you were like, it's 5,000 people can fit out here. And we were like, we were so blown away.
Right.
And I think, and we were always, so often, let's just be honest for 30 seconds. Your ticket sales matter. In the theater, you're worried about that. It's a worry. It's
always about butts and seats. Yep.
Yes, it is. And and so for us in that moment, it was just wonderful to invite people. Yeah. People came from out of town, from Cincinnati, from Toledo. They came from our own area and region here, from Columbus. Yeah. It was the entire area.
It was special.
People were able to attend and experience Sonny Patterson and Timothy Bloom, who were both fabulous and perfect for the lawn.
It was beautiful.
Yes, indeed.
So I'm excited because you and I are always dreaming up fun and new exciting journeys together as we continue to write the story, right? We're all writing what the story is that's going to happen here at the Levitt and at 5th and Main. Do you want to share any excitement with everyone that you and I are dreaming up together?
I am delighted about this. Lisa, when I had an opportunity to speak with you and talk about this idea of, because of COVID, because of the pandemic, and because of where we are as a society and socially, I've realized that our work in urban creative arts, we've always had taken the opportunity to address the challenges, to address the issues and everything that was being faced by BIPOC. Mm-hmm. Always. Mm-hmm. That has been our work.
Right.
And that's what the home of urban creative arts is. And so for us, what we realized post the pandemic is that what we need to do now is to take it a deeper level. And you were so in agreement with that idea of us taking the show that we had scheduled here at the Levitt and saying, let's take that money and invite Ohio artists from every genre, as we would that would be in a signature show, to come and participate with students to host a Levitt signature summer camp that would allow students and artists to share a beautiful space and then create something together on a stage. And so I was so delighted to hear that you were excited about me wanting to look at our show that's coming up this summer differently. And I'm glad to do the work differently and be more inclusive for the students and for the youth and for the artists, because we want to create longevity. We want to create a connection that is beyond just one moment. And I think that is exactly what the Levitt is doing.
I thank you. I appreciate that. And I think more than anything, you and I have talked about this, about lifting up that next generation and using leveraging the gifts that we have in order to give them strength and a platform, and and also unlocking their creativity with expression. And I really feel that that is something that we are really committed to in our education and outreach as we develop as a venue. But I am so excited to do this work with you, and we are very honored and privileged to be partnering with you and the urban creative arts. So to TBD, right? Stay tuned. We'll have more information about that. And I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your busy day to come and be with us today. So thank you.
It is always an honor. It is always a joy. And as always, we're going to keep it Dayton, and we're going to keep it Levitt Pavilion.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Have a good one.
You too.
I mean, every time I hear it, like, I just get emotional, right?
It's amazing. She's truly a Dayton original, just that's hands down. And so
I feel really, really blessed to have her art as part of our legacy, and that it's painted so that everyone can see it on the mural. So I hope that everyone gets a chance to come down and see this gorgeous piece of work done by Brent Beck and Adelie Gagnet that painted it for us. So we had a little sneak reveal. She is going to be working with us this summer, the 21, in a special camp that will happen at the Levitt, developing our urban artists. So we are really proud of this work and excited to see what we can cook up. So more details to come back out on that soon. So we have so much more yet to come today. I hope you all enjoy the music over the next few hours, and then head over to Barrel House and get some provisions as we toast all things Levitt with Amelia Robinson at 5 o'clock. And 6 o'clock, we're going to have our students showcasing their virtual songwriting camp that happened this fall. And then we're wrapping it up with Tom Higginson of the Plain White Tees and Dave Alexander from Mix 107.7. Enjoy this day. And from all of us at Levitt Dayton, this is a season of gratitude. And we are so honored and our hearts are full to be part of this community. So please be well. And we can't wait to see you in 21.
Goodbye, everyone. See you in 2021. It'll be awesome.
Thank you, Rodney.
My pleasure. Always my pleasure.